Hey, Dan Passarelli here. Happy Friday. And the S&P 500, looks like it's up a little bit on the week here, right? Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday closed higher on the week. Do you believe that? Higher on the day, up 0.5%. SPY closing at 664.35 today. And, closed because of overall good news. Sounds like the meeting with China will take place, and it's at least being downplayed by the U.S. side as, it'll be fine. And realistically, it probably was negotiation tactics. Probably will be fine. Earnings came out pretty strong this week, the ones that I looked at, especially the banking section. But next week is going to be an important one, especially for the banking sector. Mainly because we're going to have some regional banks reporting next week. And it won't be quite so important what their actual earnings numbers are, but it will be what they say in their earnings conference calls to see if there are any of those cockroaches, as Jamie Dimon referred to them as, meaning do some of these smaller banks have some bad loans on their books, as that has becoming more common practice to do off-balance sheet debt. So we're going to get a look at that. That's one of the only catalysts that can really go wrong that's kind of out in the public right about now. Notwithstanding the fact that markets still are trading at kind of crazy price to earnings ratios, but the market hasn't really cared about that. The market hasn't really seemed to care about the shutdown. So, I don't know. I think unless the banks are, unless there are some problems identified in some of the earnings conference calls, things look like they'll be in pretty good shape for next week. Also, in 12 days, the week after next, we are going to have the FOMC meeting where there is a 99% likelihood factored into the market that the Fed will cut by 25 basis points. And if they do, that will be in line with expectations and, probably perceived to be bullish on the market. But that's kind of like earnings too. It's not really just about the number. It's 99% chance factored in. What it's really going to ultimately be about is, what do the Fed governors say then? Do they say, okay, we can't cut anymore? Or do they say, we better cut some more? That is going to be the market moving stuff. But the only problem is they don't really have a whole bunch of news out there. The only thing they really have for unemployment is ADP, which only accounts for 10% of the market. So that's really not a big enough sample size. So it'll be interesting. We should probably continue to be having some volatility into next week. It appears the 50-day moving average is holding as support. No reason to believe that it shouldn't without that unlikely but possible bad bank news. That's all the stuff to think about this weekend. Hope that helps. This is Dan Passarelli, Trade Smart.